Welcome back to MTR for another episode of My Choice, Not Yours. So Taylor Swift has released a 10-minute version of her song All Too Well, which has seemingly taken the internet by storm, knocking Don Mclean's American Pie off the records as the longest in-duration song as number one on the Billboard Hot 100 in the US. It's not that often that you find a song in this genre going for more than 3 to 4 minutes in length. But yet, people were so blown away that such a long song could be listenable to and appear to not be as long as it is. Let's be frank here, 10-minute songs are not hard to find. Just look at progressive rock or metal. It's the Swifties, though, who cannot believe that they're able to listen to such a long song and thoroughly enjoy it. So why is it that this song can top the charts as a 10-minute song and make headlines and be more widely publicly acclaimed than metal and progressive rock songs of the same length? For those who watch my channel, you know that I like analyzing music, and that's what I'm pretty much doing on this channel. So while there's less interest created here musically than other songs of the same length, there are some reasons why that this song is so well received by Taylor Swift's fans. For context, let's take a quick look at some of the interview that Taylor Swift did with Seth Meyers on the 11th of November 2021.
I made it very clear that I wanted to be able to buy my music. That opportunity was not given to me, and it was sold to somebody else. And so I just figured I was the one who made this music first. I can just make it again.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. When something says in parentheses Taylor's version next to it, that means I own it, which is exciting.
So we know that the re-recording of her songs is something that has been going on for a while. But this song, All Too Well, whilst a cult classic with her fans, didn't actually chart higher than number 80 in the US Billboard charts back in 2012. So because of a volatile recording industry, Taylor Swift has been able to reclaim her music and capitalize mainly off nostalgia. Let's have a very quick look at how these two versions differ musically. Taylor Swift's 2012 release of All Too Well is a heavier version with a stronger focus on instrumentation. Whilst it does start with an acoustic guitar strumming chords, we can hear a particular melodic hook very clearly played on an electric guitar. Fans will initially notice changes in the new version, with the accompanying instruments much more electronically muffled with reverb, and an electric piano more prominently playing the familiar hook. The mature development of Taylor Swift's voice here is also undeniable.
I walked to the door with you. The air was cold, but something about it felt like home somehow.
What's also undeniable to all, despite the genres of music that you prefer to listen to, is that music can be used as a vehicle for many purposes. In this case, for the contemporary singer-songwriter, music is used with an emphasis on storytelling through lyrics and poetry. This is enhanced in the newer version, where there is a move away from the louder accompaniment style of the electric guitar. To the softer, more mellow and smooth use of synthesized instruments. It's important to note that the drum beat has remained largely consistent throughout both versions. Not unlike other contemporary pop songs of this genre, the final verse has a significantly thinner texture using just the one accompanying harmonic instrument with the vocals, to quickly build up again to the final chorus.
Time won't fly, it's like I'm paralyzed by it. I'd like to be my old self again, but I'm still trying to find statue of innocence, and it smells like me. You remember it all too well, yeah. 'Cause there we are again, when I loved you so.
The new version, however, has a final verse using a once again mellowed out synthesized accompaniment with a rather inactive drum kit,
Self again, but I'm still trying to find it after plaid shirt days and nights when you
which
made
gradually builds in dynamics and texture using backing vocals.
me rare. I was there, I remember it all too well. Wind in my hair.
It is in my opinion that this is the section where this version musically does shine the most. The melody is somewhat different to the verse and the chorus, almost like a bridge. And whilst the same 4 chords are being used as with previously, they are played in a different order here. I'm somewhat reluctant to class this as a verse or a chorus as a result. The vocal doubling with the lower register used in this melody by Taylor Swift is a notable and refreshing change after over 8 minutes.
All of snow and how it glistened as it fell. I remember it all too well.
We finish with a coda, or outro, introducing a new descending melody, focusing on earlier lyrics.
All too well.
It's clear that there has been musical changes made to this, but seemingly little to warrant a 10-minute version outside of extra lyrics to emphasize heartache from 11 years prior. That's not to say that Taylor's music lacks interest, far from it. Just take a look at this masterpiece, where different sections explore texture, tone color, and rhythmic changes in different ways.
Perfect crime, but I got smarter, I got harder in the nick of time. Honey, I rose up from the dead, I do it all the time. Oh, look what you made me do, look what you made me do. For a place to sleep, locked me out and threw a feast. What? The world moves on another day, and I'll be the actress starring in your bad dreams.
Taylor Swift is a singer-songwriter, and we've seen the trend of singer-songwriters for decades since the 60s. Modern pop songs by singer-songwriters are often self-accompanied, especially in live performances, on acoustic guitar or piano, where the artist assumes the role of a composer, lyricist, vocalist, and sometimes instrumentalist. According to AllMusic, their lyrics are personal, but often veiled by layers of metaphors and obscure imagery.
And it's hard at the end of the day. Need some distraction.
As I mentioned earlier, up until now, the longest song in duration to have topped the US Billboard charts was Don McLean's American Pie, whose music also encompassed the singer-songwriter style, but of the 1960s. Whilst American Pie contains 6 verses with a chorus in between each, and a reiteration of the chorus at the end, the lyrics were personal but did cross over into a more storytelling capacity. But the brilliance of this song lies within how Don McLean can keep this song musically engaging within the span of 8 minutes and 36 seconds, whilst continuing to repeat the verses and the choruses. Here we have tempo changes.
So bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Did you write the book of love, and do you have faith?
The use of piano improvisation interludes.
I started singing bye-bye, Miss
Seemingly more improvised melodies.
Man, I dig those rhythmic blues. I was a lonely teenage Bronco. No verdict was returned. And why
Textural changes.
let us getting right and singing, this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die. And I asked her for some happy news, but she just smiled and turned away.
And the final reiteration of the chorus, which becomes seriously anthemic by the time we reach the ending of the song.
Bye, bye, Miss American
But as Taylor Swift is re-recording all of her albums, it's a no-brainer for Taylor to re-record this song. But for the Swifties, and for many others who have been following Taylor Swift throughout her career, it comes as a shock that somebody can make a 10-minute song that's so enjoyable and bearable. I'll restate this again. Excellent 10-minute songs exist, but not many for contemporary singer-songwriters, and understandably so. But in the case of Don Mclean, American Pie prevails both lyrically and musically. Contemporary popular music by singer-songwriters are designed to tug at your heartstrings lyrically, with personal, relatable messages seemingly about relationships forming or breaking down. Often they usually have minimal harmonic change, usually around 4 chords throughout the entire piece of music, and not too much notable melodic, rhythmic, or textural contrast. There is just enough musical material in these kind of pop songs to smash out a 3 to 3.5 minute song to keep the listeners engaged in that period of time. So, with that being said, it actually baffles me that Taylor Swift can release a 10-minute version of this song in this style and not be boring. But is it not boring for the right reasons? Taylor sums it up really well here in the interview with Seth Meyers.
Going back and reliving these things with the fans, and this time around, I get to do things that I know they wish I would have done the first time.
That's really
Because I'm
cool.
always listening, and I'm always lurking, and I'm always listening to their opinions and their theories, and what they will let me know which songs should have been singles.
Yeah.
They let me know which songs did not get videos and should have gotten videos.
So as of the week ending 27th of November, 2021, Taylor Swift's new version of All Too Well has knocked Don Mclean's American Pie off the records for the longest in duration song to hold the #1 spot on the US Billboard Top 100. This is a direct result of both an excellent social media push in response to Taylor Swift re-recording her albums because of record label injustices, and capitalizing solely off nostalgia through lyrics, whilst continuing to give validity to the subjectivity of romantic relationships. The remastered version of this song is quite literally the byproduct of what her fans wanted. When I first heard that Taylor Swift had a 10-minute song, I was psyched at the prospect of hearing a musical masterpiece, one which takes us on a journey with melodic, harmonic, and rhythmic themes. For a song with 4 chords, this could not be further from the truth. You would agree that what makes this song heart-wrenching and relatable is the lyrical content. Fans say that the lyrical content of this song, describing a relationship based on an imbalance of power, to be about the whirlwind 3-month romance between a then 20-year-old Taylor Swift and a 29-year-old Jake Gyllenhaal in the latter half of 2010. Just doing some Google searching, we can see how the media hypes this up. The addition of the new lyrics to this new 10-minute version, which fans continue to speculate are about Gyllenhaal, are part of what contributes to the song almost doubling in length. But to top it all off, Taylor created a short film about this song with the new version. The short film created to accompany this song makes it even clearer that the redoing of this piece has less to do with the music itself and more about the storytelling of a relationship breakdown. There's an extended fight scene which mirrors the following stated in the New York Times. All Too Well parallels the emotional work that many women have been privately undertaking in the wake of the Me Too movement, looking back on past encounters or relationships that left them with a seemingly outsized feeling of unease, wishing they could go back and extend some compassion or wisdom to their vulnerable younger selves. Furthermore, the new version of this song, which accompanies the short film, adds an extra extended instrumental section with a violin melody. This section is not present in the audio-only version, further reiterating that the 10-minute redo of this song is for poetic purposes only, with the instrumental section only used for accompanying the visual storytelling. Whilst we know that every relationship is different and personal, This extended version introduces lyrics and content which seemingly continues to look at relationships from a one-sided perspective, a dangerous message which influential artists like Taylor Swift pass down to younger audiences.
I was thinking on the drive down, anytime now, he's gonna say it's a love. You never called it what it was.
These lyrical additions, coupled with the new short film, continue to dwell on the past, rather than sending meaningful messages about where women who are indeed stuck in abusive relationships can seek help. While this critique absolutely does not call Taylor Swift's creativity into question, it does question the way that music is consumed and the messages that it sends out to youth. The Taylor Swift fandom wiki shows a list of her past boyfriends and reasons for breakup. It lists 8 heterosexual relationships over the span of 8 years, with fan theories about how particular breakups and relationships inspired certain songs and albums, asserting that her 3-month relationship with Gyllenhaal inspired many songs of her album, Red. I want to make it abundantly clear that nobody should ever be shamed for the number of romantic relationships that they have. However, this critique of multiple partners and songs inspired by relationships and breakups, if they are anything like All Too Well, constantly sends messages to young women to be hung up on past relationships, no matter how long they are, rather than promoting reflection and growth from the experience. Whilst I'm not familiar with all of Taylor's catalogue, it would be good to see some popular songs focus around reflection without shifting the blame for relationship breakups solely on one party, but looking at relationships realistically and holistically. I'm not usually this serious. Anyway, I see all the comments. Thank you so much for watching this episode of My Choice, Not Yours. Until next time.
It's Kanye.